because I'm always out of sync.
Out of sync with my brain.
Okay, so I watched the first 4 episodes of the Resident Evil TV show so that you don't have to. I mean, you can if you want. I'm not the boss of Toledo. I'm not the boss of Toledo. I'm not the boss of TV shows.
Strange fish.
Let's start this with a disclaimer here. I don't know things. I just like things. Or don't like them in some cases. Honestly, I think I'm just very simple and I just take what I'm given. I think I'm just not that smart. You put a film on or a TV show on for me and I just switch my brain off and watch it. It's hard to avoid opinions on the internet. Even if you're not looking for them, even if you're actively avoiding looking for them. Get in the brain, through the eyes, up the nose, you're stuck with them. So obviously I was very well aware that people did not like Resident Evil the TV show. Is Resident Evil really that bad? It might be. Well, I don't think it's that good. But I'm not sure that it's quite that bad either. I think people just like having a moan. I have a bit of a soft spot for Resident Evil, specifically Resident Evil 2. I always joke hilariously that it was my first love kiss, hardy har har. It was the first game I ever had on my first console, one that was mine, just mine, not my brother's that he was forced to share with me. Mine. And I played the heck out of that game. And unlike the remake, Leon B is different from Leon A and different from Claire B, and Claire A is also different from Claire. There's more variety throughout the 4 points of the stories than there is in the remake, which was kind of disappointing, because otherwise that remake was fantastic and I loved it. Hello, kitty. Are you reading my notes? Are they good notes? They're poo notes. It's alright, you can tell me. So as I said, I like stuff but I don't know stuff, so I'm not master of the Resident Evil lore. Hello, kitty. Obviously, before we go on, there's gonna be major spoilers because I'm talking about everything that happened in the first 4 episodes. So a bit of synopsis and then some thinks, but not many thinks because I don't have many thinks. So while I'm in the mood for a brain ramble, let's get on with it. Episode 1. The world has gone to poop and zombies. And also there's bunnies. So we start on a sort of post-apocalyptic London, I think. Shows you I wasn't paying that much attention. With our main girl Jade and her bunnies. And her funky red jumpsuit. It's a very silly thing to focus on, but I need to stop here and just talk about the hair for a minute. She has this funky pompadour looking braid going down the centre of her head and 3 little French braids down the side, and it's very nice. I like it. That's super clever if you can do that, let alone in a tent in the middle of the apocalypse. And this hair is perfect. There is not a hair out of place. This isn't I put this in 6 months ago so it would be low maintenance for my expedition. This is I put this in this morning with some hair lacquer and a makeup artist. Makeup artists don't do hair. Hairstylists do hair. But anyway, perfect hair aside, we start with some narration about the end of the world. It was foretold that it would be climate change that would kill us all, but no, it was the zombies. And here we are now in 2036, 14 years after the end. Does bunny ears work if I've got a pen in the middle of my fingers? The end. We get a weird shot of her, who by the way's name is Jade. Important thing I forgot to tell you. Lying on the ground, kind of staring into camera, eyes unblinking. And she kind of looks dead on the ground. I don't know if that was the point, but apparently she's listening for something. Zombies, presumably? I don't know, I didn't know you could listen for zombies. And we do a big pan and zoom out to reveal destroyed city. So we're kind of established, lone girl, apocalyptic city. She goes out with her bunnies. Ta-da. We're then back in her tent with her. And with a very somber kind of face, she does this slow 3 count and then suddenly bursts into a happy birthday with a big happy face on, and we've got a video call with presumably the husband and the daughter. Now I don't know why they did the weird counting, because I thought that was a setup for this being a recorded video call or a recorded message because they're dead now. And she has just memorised her part of it so that she says her part as if she's talking to them in real life. But no, this is an actual real call. These are actual real people. They're actually alive. So I don't know what the countdown was all about. So of course it's the daughter's birthday and the mama's not there because she's been on a field expedition for 6 months. Sad face. The daughter is 9 years old today and she got a book for her birthday. Shakespeare. The complete work of Shakespeare. For a 9-year-old. So we get Happy child, understanding partner, sad mum because she's not there, and then we get on with mum's work, where she gets out her bunnies for her experiments. Don't know about you, but I find it kind of hard to like or root for a character if one of the first things I've learned about them is that they happily sacrifice animals for their own scientific or academic gain. It's maybe not the best introduction for it. Yeah, I get it. Desperate times. So anyway, she gets ready to go out, and the first thing she has to do is cover herself in her Axe body spray. Or it might be anti-Axe body spray, because this is obviously supposed to repel the zombies rather than draw them to her. I suppose it's masking her scent or something. She sets up her little camera, she pricks the bunny so it's bleeding, and she sends it off out into the world. Bye-bye, bunny. So the zombies come out for the bunny. We get lots of cool close-up faces of zombies sniffing the air.
And here's my first think, which isn't really a good think, but it's just a think.
I'm a simple creature. I like my zombies. I like my zombie movies, and I'm quite old-fashioned in my views for zombies. I like my zombies to amble. I like my zombies to be stupid and gormless. I don't like fast zombies. I get it. Fast-paced chasing is probably more interesting than dodgering old zombs, but it's also lazy, I think. If you can find a way to make them scary without them being super speedy, then I think it's worth the effort. The only fast zombies that I will accept are 28 days later zombies. Not 28 weeks, 28 days. And that's because they weren't zombies, they were rage-infected humans. And yes, there's a difference. To quote the great George Romero, father of all zombies, zombies can't run. They are reanimated corpses. If they ran, their ankles would break. Don't quote me on that quote. I might not have got it exactly right. It might not even have been him that said it, but that's what I remember and that's what I'm sticking to. So anyway, back to our zombies. Already, I don't like the way they move. I don't like the shuffle. I like my classic zombies with the little draggy feet and, you know, the impression that Shaun of the Dead does in the Shaun of the Dead movies is exactly what I want to see from my zombies.
That's pretty good.
Because like I said, I am a simple creature. So we get a couple of shots of the zombies sniffing the air. They catch whiff of the bunny blood. But then we get this really weird shot. And I wish I could show you it, but I don't want to get into trouble for showing it. But the best way I can describe it is like a thriller moment. A group of zombies who simultaneously, in one beautifully choreographed move, go... And then... fast zombies. And we know how I feel about that. So anyway, they all lunge for the bunny rabbit. They all miss the bunny rabbit. The bunny rabbit hops away freely.
Bye bye, bunny.
And poor old Jade is disappointed because the zombies are not working together. She is observing them and making notes, trying to see if they are evolving or something. But no luck today, so she gets ready to leave and uh-oh, she cuts her arm.
Oh no, blood.
So of course the zombies sniffer. And a chase begins. Honestly, did she have no other contingency plan for if something went wrong and the zombies spotted her other than just leg it? So she makes it back to her base where she has a perimeter of pylons, she presses the button and fire comes out everywhere, which... why? We know zombies are not deterred by fire, they just walk right through that stuff. Fire doesn't kill zombies. But apparently fire kills these zombies and none of them even attempt to walk through it. Or maybe it's the red powder that comes out afterwards that kills the zombies. I don't know. But they're dead. And everything's red. So, phew, that was a close one. But wait! Tremors! Oh no! Big mutant caterpillar! So, size of a building, caterpillar on steroids comes out and starts attacking her. And then we go back in time. We now go back 14 years to 2022. Yay! Nobody yays for 2022, what am I doing? So we go back 14 years to young Jade and her sister Billy, who in the year of 2022 their biggest concern is that they are moving school and house. And they are moving to the blandest place in town. Every single building is pure white. Every wall, every building, everything in this town is pure white. It's like Stepfordville. Stepfordville is not a place. I don't know, is that social commentary? Our Jade does point out that they're in South Africa and she's only spotted 5 black people so far, so maybe. And we know this is Jade because she's conveniently still got her 3 little braids on the side, which I personally find very helpful. I have a confession, I have a little bit of face blindness. If you have the same actor and they change their hair, sometimes even just wear a different outfit, it doesn't register in my brain and I don't know if it's the same person or not. Is that the same blonde lady from the beginning or is this a new blonde lady? I don't know. How many blonde ladies are in this movie? So when they're moving across time and they've got to have two different actresses, I really appreciate the hair continuity to help me keep up with things. So we arrive at their new house, Dad and his two daughters, and we learn that Jade is a bit of an asshat, to be honest with you.
She's an edgy teen, so she says edgy things for shock value.
And they're welcomed on behalf of Umbrella Company to their new home in New Raccoon City. Seriously, why would you call it New Raccoon City? Why would you want to have it associated with the disaster that was Raccoon City? Surely you'd want to distance yourself from that. Oh, and absolutely everything inside the house is white too. I guess this is to say that it is devoid of personality. Much like our main character, really. So the dad has to take her work call and he answers the phone stating his name. Whisker. Dun dun dun. Albert Whisker. Hey, that's a name we all know and hate. So we basically have Dad, Whisker, and two sisters, Jade, who's not very nice, and Billy, who seems to have a bit of a problem with her temper and is trying to make a fresh start here where people won't call her psycho or take her off to the therapist or tell her to stop stealing frogs or breaking kids' legs. You know, harmless stuff. Jade meets local boy Simon and Billy plays with the bugs. Oh no, tiny caterpillar! Which brings us back to a huge caterpillar and Jade trying to hide from it underneath a truck like a 5-year-old who thinks that if they can't see you, you can't see them.
But she must have left a little foot sticking out because the caterpillar grabs her, flails her about in the air for a bit and slams her onto a car, so she's dead. And the moment she's dead, suddenly the caterpillar has got bored of rampaging and just decides to hang over her and scream at her for a bit. Long enough for guys with guns. I don't know what kind of guns, I'm not a gun person. To come and shoot the thing dead. Now, I'm not buying this. That kind of enemy would have taken me 3 health packs, all my grenades and shotgun shells, and left me with nothing but my pistol. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, but this... I can suspend my disbelief only so far, TV show. So these 3 heroes come and check out Jade and her camp. One of them manages to diagnose her with internal bleeding and a concussion by gently pressing on her sides. Then they notice a tattoo on her wrist, and it's not one of those drunken mistakes she got when she was 18. No, this tattoo means that she's a survivor. And yes, I did have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the episode, thanks for that. We hop back and forth quite a lot between the past and the present, building up the story here. But the important points to notice in the past, Papa Wesker seems to be taking weekly blood samples from the girls with no explanation and no reason, and we later then see him injecting himself in the neck with a vial of Billy's blood. Ew. Billy's not having a good time at school. We get the traditional canteen scene and who you gonna sit with, and Billy sits alone. Oh no, there's another girl who nobody wants to sit next to, and she comes right over to Billy. This is gonna be her cool little friend. She's a freak like her. They're gonna be besties. But no, she's an asshat too. And she immediately starts teasing and bullying Billy, which turns into a fight. I kind of like the fact that they turned it around. You expect it to be the little friendo and it turns into a... How many times can I do this? And of course it's all filmed for the internet. And Jade, ever the supportive sister, makes sure to point out that everybody's laughing at you, Billy. The whole school's laughing at you. And the only solution is to go and beat up the girl who beat you up. Nice. But Billy refuses and opts for the high ground, trying to apologise for the incident, only to get a face full of burrito or something, and more humiliation. We also learn that the 2 girls are technically twins, 2 donor eggs from different mothers, but birthed by the same surrogate, and with the same father. And now it's time for an ad break. Not really, but kind of. We get an ad in the show for a product called Joy, which is some sort of super antidepressant, anti-anxiety type of medication. Papa Wesker is watching this advert and he doesn't like it very much because according to him, This drug was made for people with serious issues. This woman has a good house and a family. Why is she taking pills? Hate to break it to you, Papa Wesker, but people can have mental health issues no matter where they live or what kind of family they have. But of course, there's problems with the drug. Papa Wesker doesn't want to release it, but the money people, they want it released because they've booked their advertising slot and they can't cancel it now, you know? I should flip my hair from side to side to tell us whether we're in the past or the present. I'll forget to do it though halfway through, just you watch. So we're in the present again, and Jade has wakened up. She is completely recovered from her internal bleeding and concussion after, I suppose, a nap. And she obviously wants to know where she is, so she pulls up a handy-dandy map, from which we learn that most of the world is kind of divided into freeholds and sects and walled cities and everything else. And all the nicer parts are owned by Umbrella, of course. Then in walks one of the gunmen from earlier, and he has a Scottish accent. Woohoo! Sorry, you have to cheer for a Scottish accent whenever you hear one. It's not very often that we do. He takes her for a bit of a looky-see around their sort of Mad Max industrial corrugated iron and scaffolding freehold. But they can't leave. Their helicopter's out on another mission and they are surrounded by zombies. Sorry, not zombies, zeros. I don't know what the problem is of zombie movies or shows calling zombies zombies. But anyway, these are zeros. Right, time to flip the hair to the other side now. Whoop. Because we're back in the past. Papa Wesker reviews the footage of Tijuana with zombies and guns firing. The bully is attacked in the toilet, bonked on the head by somebody wearing the school's mascot head, which is of course a raccoon. A pale blue and white raccoon, because I forgot to mention, everything in this school is muted shades of blue and grey. Everything, even the children's outfits. The only thing that's not is Jade's bright red funky jacket. That kind of goes with her bright red funky jumpsuit. I don't know what this was. And of course they blame Billy and even find the raccoon head inside her locker. So the bully, whose name is Tammy, is in the office with her dad, who is ranting and raving about suing for assault. Until Billy's dad walks in, and he's of course Albert Wesker, so new dad curses under his breath and sits the hell down. Papa then proceeds to show us where Jade got her assholery from by pointing out that thousands of people could do new dad Dave's job without any question, but only one person can do his job. So after threats of being potentially fired and blacklisted from every company ever in the existence of ever, Dad Dave backs down. And then Papa Wesker decides to pull his ace card, which is, oh, and didn't your daughter attack my daughter twice? Wouldn't you lead with that? That seems more reasonable. Lead with that, and then if that doesn't work, then you pull out the big guns and be an asshole. Well, no, he just went with being an asshole first. Okay then. We know he's an asshole then. Dad suggests that Billy gets the day off tomorrow and that they go and have lunch at his lab. And Billy is mad at Jade because she knows it was Jade who did the bonking. Swish! Because we're in the past. Back to the present, and Scottish Tate doesn't know why the zombies keep surrounding their freehold, but Jade's there to tell him that they smell them. Because zombies smell good. Zombies smell bad. They have a good sense of smell. And apparently after 14 years, Tate didn't know that. We get a bit of exposition about the zombies from Jade. They're not technically dead, they're just rewired. And all the people are infected with what they call zero strain. Hence the name Zeros. It's okay, it makes sense, but zombies still works just as well. These are the carriers, so basically we're the rats of this plague. The big scary caterpillar gets explained by T-virus crossing species and causing mutations and rampant cell growth. And Jade is observing the zombies, Zeros, to see if they start to get smarter. The theory seeming to be that as the virus evolves, it will hopefully get weaker, which means the zombies, Zeros, will get stronger and become more human. It's here we learn that Jade is what they call a first wave survivor, and shock horror, she's been betrayed by her new best buddy Scottish Tate, who has called in Umbrella because they have a bounty on her head. Oh dear. Swish! So Billy's off on her electric scooter down to the lab to meet Papa Wesker, and she gains access to the building through a voice-activated security system, why am I doing this, which has facial recognition software and name recognition software,
and grants her a 3-hour pass. And as she's making her way through the building, we see a lovely hologram of a cutesy and not at all creepy cuddly bear advertising joy for kids. Because SSRIs for kids is a great idea and has never caused any problems. But this might not have been one of Papa Wesker's greatest ideas, because animal-loving vegan Billy then spots a huge stack of bunnies. Yes, more bunnies. And of course she is very against the idea of testing on animals, as she should be. And persuades Jade to help her break into the lab so they can take photographs of the animals to post online, because nobody knows about this. They don't know that they're cruel to animals. They even had an award from PETA. I think that might have been your first red flag. So they steal Dad's key card and scoot away, and on the way they talk about how scary Dad was in the school office and how boring Dad really is. He uses the same password for everything. Remember that one. It's going to be important later. Billy lets us know that this is going to be super easy because they have no security. Why do they have no security? I've no idea, but they have no security at this lab. All they have is computer robot lady at the front who suddenly forgets that she needs facial recognition in order to let people into the building, and she's quite happy to accept Albert Wesker's recorded voice on the girl's phone. And we're very quickly into the past again. The amount of times I'm switching my hair back and forth, I'm realising just how many times we jumped to the past and present in this first episode. It wasn't massively confusing, but it's still a lot. But at our corrugated iron freehold, Umbrella arrives in their helicopters with lots of guys with guns. And they surround everybody. Do that pointing their guns down anyway thing. Well, that's a bit of a rubbish way of putting it. And they surround the whole place, ready for Man in Suit. Man in Suit with beard, who we know is significant and bad because he gets a dun 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 in the music as he comes in. Coming through? Meow meow. Any tension of the moment is undercut by Sooty Beardy Man doing a comical little slip down the stairs. I don't know why they did that, but we'll put a little pin in it and we'll come back to that later because I have some thinks. Not a lot of thinks, but some thinks. Beardo's name is Mr. Baxter, but I'll probably call him Beardo because I want to. He says cool a lot. Then he shoots Tate in the head before the rest of the troops open fire on everybody else, and Jade makes a run for it. We're ready for the swish? Swish! Yes, we're back in the past, taking pics of the animals in the lab. But they don't have any phone signal, and for some reason it's imperative that they upload these pictures right now. So Jade jumps onto the computer and logs on. Just so handy that her dad happens to use the same password everywhere. I mean, seriously, come on, Wesker. Everywhere except maybe the Umbrella Lab. And while she's doing that, Billy gets distracted by something else. Oh, look, a crate, an ominous crate, a scary-looking crate with some whimpering coming from inside of it. Let's open this up. Nothing bad could possibly happen here. So the crate door opens and out pads the zombie Doberman from the game. Yay! Or Rottweiler, one of the two. The girls run, they make it into the lift and safely back down to the ground floor, only to be pursued by the dog again. Hang on. Did that dog use the lift? Did he call the lift and then press the buttons to get to the ground floor? Anyway, they hide from the dog and they accidentally activate the happy, cute Joy Joy bear, and he sings Joy, 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 Joy down in my heart. Because of course he does. And despite all the red lights going off and alarms blaring, there is not a security guard in sight. Billy was absolutely right. They have no security at all. Except for the fact that they can't unlock the door from the inside. Long story short, run, chase, caught, fight, dead. Scaffolding Town is on fire and Jade comes face to face with Beardo, who gives the ominous line of "Your sister has been looking for you." We get a very hard to read expression from Jade before she decides to take a flying leap off the top of the wall down into the horde of zombies. Now there's a massive space on the ground. There's no zombies in the vicinity where she is about to land, but I'm more concerned with actually the landing part of it. But none of that matters for now, because slow motion, cut to black, we're done. I'm exhausted, and that was just episode 1. And here's some little extra things that I had in my think pan, and they're not very clever things, but it's what I thinked. I didn't exactly hate it, but I didn't like it much either. I already like it better than the films. I was not a fan of the films at all, but I didn't hate it as much as everybody online seems to hate it, and I started to think, why? Why do they hate it? And why do I just kinda not like it? Well, for a start, as you will tell by what I just rambled on about, there is a lot happening in just this first episode. But you know what's not happening? Character. I don't care about Jade. Sure, she has a hubby and a kid, but that doesn't make me instantly care about them. Lots of people have partners and children, but so far she hasn't really shown an awful lot of personality. She's obviously tough, she's obviously clever, but that's not really enough. She hasn't done anything to make me actually like her or have her stand out more than anybody else. And so you would think the flashbacks to the past might help that, because we learn a little bit about her in the past, but no, we don't. We mostly learn about Billy, and we mostly learn that Jade is not very likeable in the past either. Okay, she's a teen. Teens are often not very likeable because they're grumpy and moody, at least if they're anything like I was. So whatever peril she is in, there's no tension felt because I don't know her, I don't really care that much about her, and if she was to die at this episode, it wouldn't really make any difference to me. I would move on to the next character they introduced. I'm not sure where they're going with the character of Albert Wesker because my limited knowledge of him is that he's the bad guy. But they're making him out to be not so bad a bad guy. He wants to delay the release of the new wonder drug until he's tested it and refined it and worked out all the kinks. And it's the people above him, the ones who are making all the money, that want to push it out. But at the same time, his first thought when confronted with a problem with his child and another child is to instantly threaten to fire the dad. Is he a bad guy or is he a not so bad guy? The flashbacks are partly to set up the backstory and partly to set up the beginning of the outbreak and partly to set up the relationship between the two girls, between the two sisters, which I think is asking a lot. And if I'm honest, I don't feel it does a very good job of setting up the relationship between the sisters. They just seem like normal sisters. Sometimes they argue, sometimes they get along. They're not exceptionally close and they're not exceptionally distant. But I think the programme wants you to think that they're super close. Being twinsies and all. They do have their slow, quiet, talky moments and then their action point. I'm not sure that they hit the right notes with the slow, talky bits. We don't learn enough about the people or how they think. I'm not even sure what Jade's actual motivation is at the moment other than to observe them. And is she part of a company observing them? Is she doing this independently? Or are they part of a sort of a rebel team? And as the episodes go on, it doesn't seem to get any clearer, at least not as far as I can see. And personally, I think it tries to play it too straight. Like I said, zombie movies, zombie monsters, zombie movies, zombie shows. I think you need to have a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. You need to be a little bit silly with it. Like, that comical slip down the stairs felt really out of place with everything else that they had going on. It's like, comedy relief character. Or is he really, or is he the bad guy? We're going to make up your mind. That's probably enough rambling about episode 1, and we'll move on to episode 2 in the next video. Cheerio, zeros.
Strange fish.
You'll know that I like zombies because I have the Ladybird Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.